All right, we're live. Welcoming everybody to After the Game. Jim Coyle will be with us shortly. He's still in the press conferences talking with Mike Woodson and the players. Right now, I'm joined by Drew Schifino, current IU basketball commits, Jalen Hood-Schifino's uncle. How's it going, man?
Pretty good about yourself, man.
Doing all right. Just had to suffer through that second half, and now we're going to sit here and talk about it. And man, it's disappointing. It seems like with this Indiana team right now, we're not really sure where they are, because in some games, like they did against Maryland this past weekend, they look great. They went on the road. Then you come at home, you lay in against Illinois, a good Illinois team, obviously, but obviously there's a lot of things that they need to clean up before they go on the road for their next game.
No, I agree with that. I felt like Trey Jackson, being in foul trouble in the first half, obviously hurt them a lot, though. But the game was tied up Indiana actually was up by 2 at halftime. So just and also, you look at the whole game. Basketball nowadays, you can't hit the 3 ball. It's tough to win. And, Indiana right now is a whole team really not a good 3-point shooting team.
Yeah, I saw somebody tweeting earlier or tweeted at me saying Illinois' 3-point shooters are full-time 3-point shooters and Indiana's are part-time. And I think that's definitely spot on, because when guys like Xavier Johnson, Miller Copper having off games, maybe Parker Stewart is, but you never really see that cohesiveness from the shooters. And I know Xavier Johnson isn't a pure shooter. He's more of a point guard. But when you're going against a team that does have guys who can hit pretty much from anywhere at any time, and you're not hitting, that's an issue.
That's the issue, though. You got to match the team shot for shot. But that's how Indiana is. It's very inconsistent.
Absolutely. They got a big road trip coming up. They play at Northwestern, followed by at Michigan State. They come back home playing Wisconsin, and they go back on the road against Ohio State. So that's a tough stretch coming up.
Yeah, that's tough. Nonsense is a tough 4-game stretch. I feel like they got to beat Northwestern now. But Northwestern's a tricky type team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no off games in the Big Ten, but it's definitely going to be a tough 4-game stretch right there. Especially, you feel like with this loss, it really stings, because in my opinion, this was one when you see what's coming up on the schedule that you really wanted to have.
Yeah, especially with the NCAA tournament coming up, and that beating Illinois would have been another big win for him. So, but tough 4 games coming up.
Absolutely, yeah. So I want to go ahead and get into a few other things regarding Jalen Hood-Schifino before Jim gets on and wants to talk more about the game. But obviously, I said earlier, Jalen Hood-Schifino's uncle. You played for WVU back. When was it?
I played in 01 to 04.
01 to 04. So you played under Bob Huggins, right? Or was
I played under Coach Gail Catlin and Coach Beeline.
Okay, cool. Okay.
I was there with Beeline.
Not very good with my timeline of events.
We're all.
He's been there for a while, though, so I thought maybe it matched up.
Yeah, once you get old, you lose track of the years and stuff.
So now your nephew, Jalen Hood-Schifino, coming to Indiana next season. What are your thoughts on him?
I think it's a good fit. If you look at his game, he's a guy who could do it all on the court and stuff. And I think they need too bad he's not there right now, though. But they need a guy. I feel like they need a guy like Jalen, my nephew.
Before we bring Jim in, it looks like he's checking his equipment. What is it that you think he brings most for this Indiana team? Obviously, not necessarily for the current roster they have now, but what will he bring to him next season?
He bring his basketball IQ's up there, but he's a 6'5", 6'6" point. I look at a lot of people call him a combo guard. I call him a true point guard, though. But he could play on the wing also, though. But he just brings that I don't know. He just brings a lot to the table. He can I feel like he could do it all on the court. Only thing he got to work on, obviously, is everyone got to work on. He got to work on his 3-ball. Besides that, he's a great defender. He can get to the basket, and the most importantly, he make other players around him better.
Sounds perfect. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Jim Coyle. It sounds like he's ready to roll. Jim?
I'm here, man. You guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Drew, how are you, my man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Okay. Did you guys get any snow over? Are you over in West Virginia?
No, Pittsburgh area. So
you're in Pittsburgh.
We've been getting a lot of snow.
Yeah, we got it here too. I was able
to
get out and get here today, but a game that started out, man, a tremendous game. The atmosphere was awesome. A great Big Ten battle. The Bigs, Kofi Coburn. Indiana was able to kind of handle him in the first half, but Illinois' guards were doing some damage. That second half, man, that was a tale of two. Tale of two cities.
Yeah, no. I felt like Trey Jackson getting in foul trouble in the first half kind of hurt a lot. He only played 5 minutes in the first half.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
very similar to the Purdue game,
Yeah.
but a different result where the offense, they were very successful offensively, even with him out.
Yeah.
But in the second half, it seemed like they kept trying to force the issue with Kofi. And I'm like, man, that's just that's a rock you're not pushing up. That's a hill you're not pushing that rock up.
He was trying to back. I don't know. I felt like to beat Kofi, you gotta face him instead of trying to beat him back to the basket. You understand what I'm saying? Now I think
Absolutely.
Yeah, I felt like he was more athletic than Kofi. I felt like he had to beat him on the outside, front, face him up instead of, you can't back that guy down.
No, and we saw him try that. It did not work. But also Illinois shooting the ball a lot better today than they did against Wisconsin, even though they won that game. So they had both things going today. Kofi came to life in that second half, though.
Yeah, I know he did. He had grown man.
What do you have? 5 points in the first half, but he just went crazy in the second half.
Yeah.
As did Illinois overall. I mean, man, they went on. They outscored Indiana 40-21 in the second half.
Because I think it was tied up with 6 minutes left.
Yeah, continue to go on these runs, which that's not uncommon. But man, they just let Illinois keep getting out, and they just couldn't get the defensive stops.
Couldn't shoot, and when you can't shoot the 3 ball, so it's pretty tough when you can't really consistently shoot from the outside.
Absolutely, and today was a day where that was not falling for Indiana, but they did take a ton of them. As a matter of fact, in the second half, they only put up 5. I'll have to pull the stats up to see. I think that overall they ended up 5 of 13, so that means they put up 8 in the first half, only 5 in the second half. I think last I looked, Illinois had put up 18 3-point shots. They were just getting enough to fall. They beat Indiana there. Free throw line was not great for either team, but again, Kofi, man, he's a load.
He's a load. He's a grown man down low, man.
He is definitely that. So what's Indiana have to do to go forward? They're going to face guys like this again. They may run into Illinois in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, I just feel like nowadays basketball. When I came up, I just feel like if you can't consistently knock the 3 ball down, it's really going to be tough to win games.
And Indiana losing Rob Finney, of course.
Yes.
Their backup point guard who had I mentioned that Purdue game in which Trace Jackson was in foul trouble, but they had Rob Finney that game.
Yeah, he had a good game. Yeah.
Great game. Was able to come in and add to that. They just didn't have that today. Xavier Johnson was doing the best that he could, but he didn't try to play outside of his game, which is great. And I really didn't see anybody trying to play outside of their game. But Indiana didn't get any shots from Miller Kopp, a guy that's supposed to be a 3-point shooter. You can't not have shots from a guy that on a day where you need shots to fall.
Yeah, that's all. I felt. It's all about confidence, though. When you're not confident hitting the 3, you tend to not even shoot the 3 ball.
Yeah, and Parker Stewart, also a 3-point shooter, didn't get as many shots up as people would like for him to have seen. Indiana just not getting that. Just the inconsistency with the 3-point shooting has been a problem for them. But again, Kofi Coburn, he's going to be a problem for a lot of people. So that's not But you talk about Trace Jackson Davis. He's the All-American. He's the guy. He's got to get to. To me, his inability to use both hands really showed today.
Yes.
He only went one direction. He couldn't get Kofi away from the basket. And if you let Kofi camp out under there, that's like letting a redwood grow, man. You're not going to move that thing.
Yeah, that's why I was saying watching the game, and I felt like to attack him, you can't. I don't know. He was trying to back him to the basket. You can't move an ox like that anyway. So,
what did Indiana need to do differently? Besides the obvious hit shots and things of that nature?
Just I don't know, the whole year. I mean, the whole year I just felt like the guard play had been very inconsistent. So this year, I mean, they've won some good games, beat some good, obviously Purdue, but they've been inconsistent the whole year. I in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm looking over the stats. Indiana ends the game shooting only 36% from the field. That's a very low number for them, especially at home. Yeah. And more importantly, they allowed Illinois to shoot 48%. I think Indiana's averaging about 30% giving up around even in Big Ten play.
Yeah.
And they let in the Illini shoot 48%, 23 of 48. They were 43% on the 3-point shots, 10 of 23. Indiana only hitting 3 of 13. Indiana hit 78% of their free throws today, so they did okay there. They got to the line 18 times, but Illinois got there 26 times. Turnovers, Indiana still did a good job of that.
Yeah.
Not in the second half where they had 8 turnovers, only 2 in the first half.
Yeah.
What a great first half.
They played a great first half.
But 8 in the second half. What led to those added turnovers in the second half? You could say it, man. It's all good. To be honest, that's not what we do. We tell the truth.
I was just telling. I just think this year, just the guard play has just been, that's been their problem. Their guard play has been kind of poor. So it's just one of them things. But like I said, in the first half, they did play real well, especially with Trey Jackson being out. They was up by 2, but in the second half, just I don't know, the guard play at times sometimes is not good.
Let's see, where was the rebounds? Indiana still unbelievably out rebounds Illinois on the day, 33-30. I guess you got to look at that as a positive. This doesn't have the points in the paint. Indiana was leading that category, but I think that changed toward the end of the game. I'm trying to get over to the there we go. The team stats. Xavier Johnson finishes with 12 points on the day, only 4 of 11 shooting, 1 of 3 behind the arc. But he still got to 12 points. Most of those coming at the free throw line where he had 4 points and he had a 3-pointer. So he's still able to contribute offensively like they need him to do. Would like for him to hit a few more of those shots, I would think.
Yeah, he's more. I follow. He played at Pitt. So he played his beginning year at Pitt. So I followed his career. He's a good player. He's more like a slasher, not a 3. He's really not a 3-point shooter though.
And he stepped up a little bit more. I think he's gotten a little bit better at that this season. Miller Kopp, I mentioned, not a single shot off. He had 2 rebounds, an assist, and 2 personal fouls in his 16 minutes of play today. Really, really could have used something from him because that's an area that was really just void of production.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Race Thompson, Trace Davis finished with 6 points on the day, 3 of 9 shooting. We knew he spent most of his time on the bench. Race Thompson worked his butt off. I mean, he worked his ass off. What can you say? He was out there.
He's a great defender. He works his ass off every game. He's a tough player. Just he brings it. He brings it all every game. He brings it though. His energy.
30 minutes he played today, hit 3 of 4 of his free throws, was 0 for 3 behind the 3-point line. But if one of those goes down, it's just, man, the thing that
he had a couple times during the game. It was if Indiana just hit a big 3-pointer, it could basketball game could just change the whole game. So I was waiting for that big shot to go in when they were tied up. Just never happened though.
Look at Parker Stewart, 8 points on the day, 3 of 7, 2 of 4 behind the 3-point line. So he knocked down 4 shots. Indiana just didn't get enough of those off, I think. When they were having the trouble that they were having, the foul trouble inside, I really was thinking that they were going to have to do something to change their offense because in the Purdue game, they didn't use the interior as much as the perimeter. Of course, again, you had Rob Finney, but I don't know that they worked to set up better shots today like they should have on the perimeter, even 15-foot elbow jumpers, whatever. They didn't seem like it was either they were coming inside or they weren't. And that was not going to work, and it didn't work against Kofi Cockburn.
No, it didn't work. No.
I'd like to have seen them try to develop more of a mid-range offense today.
It was just, I don't know. It was just like it was too down. They like I said, they played real well in the first half. It was second half was just. I felt like they played poor in the second half. But like you said, against Purdue, Illinois. I mean, they're both different type of teams, different defensively. So you're going against a team like Illinois with the big guy. That's why Illinois was getting a lot of shots off because you have to double and triple team the big guy in Illinois.
Jordan Geronimo often can also be a help on those big guys, but today he gets 15 minutes, only had 2 points, he only took 2 shots. Not can get a lot out of him. They just didn't have an answer for Kofi once he got going. They did it in the first half, but then he was getting the help from his perimeter guys as well. So Illinois getting all kinds of scoring. Trent Frazier ends up with 23 points, 8 of 11 shooting. 8 of 11 shooting. He hit 3 of 6 3-pointers, 4 at the free throw line. Has a great, I mean, that's about as beautiful as a stat line as you're going to want from someone.
Just also, I just feel like Indiana, their whole team, I don't feel like they have any one-on-one players on their team now. You know what I mean, though?
Yeah, the closest to that would be Xavier, obviously.
Yeah,
And
you don't have one guy you can just give him the ball and say, take over the game now and stuff like that. Need a big basket. I think they're missing that guy.
And that includes down low, in the paint. You can't say that Trace Jackson's a guy that you can just give it to him and expect him to score, because that wasn't the case today. It depends on the matchup, obviously.
Yeah, it depends on the matchups, yeah. It was a bad matchup for them.
Plummer, also a good day for him. He didn't shoot. He only hit 30%, 3 of 10, but 2 of 7 behind the three-point line, 6 of 7 at the free throw line, 14 points for him. Kofi Coburn, 5 first-half points, but he ends up with 17 on the day, 6 of 17, 5 of 9 at the free throw line. And that's about all. That's where their scoring came from.
Yeah.
How many rebounds did he have? He had 8 rebounds, so he didn't kill anybody.
Yeah,
today,
they did a good job on him for most of the whole game. It's just a guy like that opens it up for everybody, though.
Just the perimeter shooting, perimeter defense for Indiana. Yeah. And one thing I sent out, and I hate to say anything negative about Race Thompson because he works his ass off so hard, but if I did have to have one negative, we could count, I would bet that he has given up more 3-point made shots this year than anyone else on the team.
Yeah.
He seems a little late switching a lot, and I've seen guys knock down 3-pointers on his late switch a lot of times this season, which, that's that, but it seems to happen a little more frequently with him on the switch, and he's a big guy. He's got to get out there quicker.
Yeah, no, I agree. You watch more games than me, though, but no, I agree with that, though. He gives up a couple games I watched this year. His reaction is kind of slower on the defense end, as far as guarding the three.
Yeah. And you see we had Christian Lander in today, a younger guy that kind of being forced into action because of Rob Finney's injury.
Yeah.
And you could kind of he's playing against guys like Frazier and Cabello, those guys. They're just quick. They're experienced. Yeah. They're veterans, man. They're Big Ten veterans.
Yeah.
But that showed. He didn't hurt himself. He hit a shot. He scored, but he got a foul quickly. He had a turnover quickly. Indiana showed their Achilles heel today, man. They can sure get in trouble if you get them in foul trouble in the perimeter in the paint, and they don't have it going on the outside. It could be a long day for the Hoosiers, as it ended up being in the second half here today.
Yep, and the worst thing is, their next 4 games is pretty tough.
Well, bouncing back from a game like this, especially a home loss. This is only the second home loss of the season.
They've been pretty good at home. Yeah.
You're losing to number 16 Illinois today. Not going to kill them, obviously. It's not going to hurt them. No one probably expected them to win this game, but they need to steal a road win. Mm-hmm. They've got to go get a win someplace that they weren't supposed to get. Yeah. They've got to make up for this.
Yeah, I agree with that. I felt like today would have been a big win. You start looking at the NCAA, getting in NCAA bids and stuff like that. I felt like now they could have won today's game. They were favored to win, but Illinois probably is a better team. But the only good thing about playing in the Big Ten, you always got them wins where you can get a big win any night. So they got more opportunities coming up.
Chris says he's upset with the second half effort. Totally unacceptable. Jackson Davis needs to stay for his senior year. That conversation is one that will go on the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And one thing that I have learned, I used to think that I could. Oh yeah, I got anything. I've learned. No, the only people that decide when someone is ready or not are the guys that draft.
Yeah.
If they draft you, you're ready.
You're ready.
I've said this. You may not be ready to play. You may be going into developmental, but they want you. You're ready enough for them.
Yeah, they see potential.
I don't know if he's ready enough. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if he's ready enough. He doesn't have a right hand. He doesn't have a shot right now. He showed today trouble that he would have with a bigger guy. So without the shot, without that, it lends itself to suggesting that he might need to come back for another year. That's not a decision that I ever weigh in on either side.
I agree with that. And I do look. I'm on the internet. I look at the draft boards, and I don't see anybody got him a projected first round. So I always say, if you're not a projected first round, the smart thing is probably to come back to help your draft stock.
Yeah, the ones I've looked at, some of them have him in the second round. Some of them have him on the bubble of the second round.
I see that too.
And games like this will kind of show that. He's a tremendous athlete, but there's just have things that he needs to work on. And Well, that would be to Indiana's benefit if that happened. Of course, that's down the road. You'd have people like Jalen Hood-Schifino here as well. That would be incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he comes back, but whatever is better for his future for him, he think is, I always wish everyone the best of luck in your decision. But yeah, him coming back next year would definitely help.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that. Indiana's next game's coming up. Who do they play next? I've not looked at the schedule. Northwestern. That's right. Traveling. I'm going to that game.
Northwestern's one of them teams. That's their style of play. It's a tough game right there at Northwestern because there's
on the road.
Play. Yeah.
Late night, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Indiana needs that game.
Yeah, they lose that game is because their next 3 games after that is who they got: Wisconsin, Ohio State, I think.
Yep.
And who else? And Michigan. I don't know. Michigan State might it be?
Yes. Yep. They're all 3 in there. Indiana has games against every team that is ahead of them in the standings. Illinois was one of those teams. But yeah, Ohio State, Wisconsin, they got to play Purdue again yet.
Yeah, I don't like to say must win, but I do think next game against Northwestern is a must win.
I agree. It is, just because when you look down the schedule, you start counting. You've got to start counting wins, and there's certain wins you just can't give up, and that's one of them. Now, although Northwestern has played teams very tough this year, they went to East Lansing and beat Michigan State.
Yeah. So that's why I say Northwestern always been like that's a team people look at it and say that's a W right there, but that's a game you got to come and play. Northwestern's one of them tough teams, though.
Absolutely. You played at West Virginia. How long has it been since you played?
I'm an old guy. I'm 40 now, so I haven't played in so long though. But probably about 01 to 04, so about almost 20 years now, man.
Oh, cool. Now
I still got the I'm the last guy to average 20 points at WVU though, so it's been 20 years.
Wow.
So I still got that. I still got that on my belt right now.
Looking, I was able to see Jalen Hood-Schifino play last week. Got to see them play in that tournament of the mate tournament, and they end up winning that in exciting fashion on overtime, buzzer beating 3-point shot. Yeah. Jalen tweaked his ankle a little bit in that game, but he came back to play. Great weekend for him. He had 26 points in the opening night, but it was my first time of really getting to see him play that much, and just enjoyed watching him and really watching him watch the floor as he was on the floor.
Yeah, his basketball IQ is really, he got a great basketball IQ, but Jalen's one of them guys you don't I feel like you got to see him in person to really. He's not gonna get him by the highlight. You got to see him in person and and also how big he is.
Well, not only that. All the movement without the ball.
Yeah, without the ball.
I could see. I saw that so much. That was probably the first thing I noticed was his movement without the ball, because he was just always on the go. But when he had the ball, it was like he was looking in 2 different directions at the same time. I mean, he's got great court vision. So looking forward to that. Have they played since the tournament last week?
They played 2 games in a row this past week. They played when they played Thursday and Friday.
How'd they do? Do you know?
They won both games. Yes,
of course.
Jalen played good. Yeah,
great team for them. Great to see that. Are you guys going to be make it up for any of the Indiana games this season as his season comes to a close?
Would I come up to any games you said?
Are you all planning on coming up to any games once his season's over?
Coach Hunter, I planned on going to the Ohio State game in Columbus. So I might go to that game. I'm not sure what my sister had planned though. But next season it's a lot of games. I'm coming to the Penn State game, Ohio State game, the Maryland games, all the games closer to the Pittsburgh area. But I'm also coming to Bloomington a lot.
Looking forward to it, man. I cannot wait. Looking forward to the Schifinos being a part of the Indiana family. What a basketball family. Drew, that we're talking to here, is Jalen's uncle, played at West Virginia, and just heard him say he was the last guy to average 20 points there, man. That's getting something done.
Yeah.
Mom also played at West Virginia, right?
No, she went to Lock Haven.
Lock Haven. All right. I knew she played ball. I thought she played there.
Right by Penn State.
So he's got it's DNA, man. He's got ball and DNA in his family.
My brother got drafted by the Tennessee Titans back in 2002. So.
Wow. So high athletic DNA runs deep through the Schifino family. Drew, I cannot thank you enough. I appreciate you taking the time to join us today and talking about Indiana's loss here at Illinois, unfortunately. But appreciate you and look forward to doing this again.
You too, man. I appreciate you having me on.
You bet, Drew. Thanks a lot, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, you too, man. All right.
Drew Schifino joining us here on Indiana Sports Beats after the game with Indiana basketball. Brought to you by Southern Stone, where I'm headed right now for a great meal at Patterson and Rogers in Bloomington. Make sure you do the same. I'm Jim Coyle. Until Monday, thanks to John, the producer, all of you. I will see you on the radio.